The book I read was Flip Your Classroom, Reach Every Student in Every Class Every Day by Jonathan Bergman and Aaron Sams. Jonathan Bergman has over 25 years of teaching experience in high school. He's married with 3 children, a pioneer of the flipped classroom movement. In 2002, he received a Presidential Award for Excellence for Math, Science, and Teaching. And in 2010, he was a semifinalist for the Colorado Teacher of the Year. He co-founded, along with Aaron Sams, the Flipped Network. It's a nonprofit organization that provides teachers with the resources to implement flipped teaching. He is an advisory on the TED Education Board, and he runs his own radio show called The Flip Side, where teachers share their stories of flipping their classrooms. Aaron Sams has been teaching for over 17 years in both Woodland Park, Colorado, and Hacienda Heights, California. He has a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and a master's in education, both from Biola. He also is a director of the Flipped Classroom and co-founded the Flip Network. He served on the chair as a co-chair for the Colorado State Science Standards Revision Committee, and in 2009 also received the Presidential Award for Excellence in Math and Science. So what is the flipped classroom? A flipped classroom takes the focus off the teacher and places it on the students. In a traditional classroom, like most of us were raised in, the teacher is the center of attention. They stand in front of the class, lecture, and hope that the students are understanding or keeping up. Students must keep up with their notes from the lecture. And then they're left to their own devices after listening. Hope they've listened well enough to be able to do the homework. Students are unable to speed up or slow down the lecture. They just need to make it work. In a flipped classroom, the teacher provides information or lectures via books, videos, or podcasts for the students to watch at home. During the class time, where they do their traditional homework, which is completed in small groups or individually, with the teacher observing and helping those who are needing help. The students are able to listen to the lecture and take notes at their own pace, being able to pause or rewind the lecture in order to better understand the given information. This structure also allows the teachers to have more one-on-one time with the students, enabling them to get to know their students and their learning styles more efficiently. So the book gives an overview on how and why to flip your classroom. The burning question, what is best for the students in my classroom? Jonathan Bergman, along with his co-workers Aaron Sams, pioneered the flipped classroom movement. So this takes the traditional way of teaching and flips it around. The idea is to make the students more accountable for their learning, and for the teacher to have more time to talk with the students and help them rather than just talk at them. Within the book, Sams explains the process of flipping your classroom, reasons why to flip your classroom, and how to progress to a flipped mastery class. A mastery class is a classroom where not everybody's on the same level. So some students may be moving ahead and finishing assignments ahead of time, grasping concepts quicker, while the ones who have a little bit more trouble can stay back and get the extra help they need until they've mastered that particular subject. The process, according to the book, is better to be able to differentiate the learning experience of your students. So when I started reading this book, I was very enthusiastic. I've always envisioned my future classroom being taught in a way that speaks to a variety of learners, the visual, the auditory, the kinesthetic. The flipped classroom model is a prime example of that, a learning environment that stimulates many different types of learning. Throughout the book, Bergman and Sams describe ways to start the process, what worked for them and what didn't work, as well as different versions and advanced versions of the flipped classroom. Taking the focus off the teacher and placing it on the students seems logical and fulfilling. In the classrooms, the students are held accountable for their actions. If they choose not to watch the video at home or do the review previous night, then they do it in the classroom while the rest of them are completing their homework or completing their classwork and their labs and getting extra help from the teacher. The student who didn't do their homework is still doing their homework. And they have to again flip it back the other way. As the book goes on to explain, once you get good at this, you can change it to a flipped mastery model. This enables the students to work at their own pace. It comes in handy when you have athletes in your class and they can work ahead. They know something's coming or they're going to be gone. They can work ahead on the assignments, complete the packets, prove that they've mastered the subject, and be ahead of the class. Or for those who have a little bit of a learning disability and are a little bit slower in the class, they can take their time, get the extra help they need. There's other students in the classroom that are always willing to help. And it keeps them flowing a little bit easier. In a traditional classroom, you can't pause the teacher like you can in a flipped classroom. The book gave a great example of how time is spent in a traditional classroom compared to a flipped classroom. At the school they worked at, they had a 95-minute block schedule, and this is kind of how it went. A traditional classroom, you'd have your warm-up activity for about 5 minutes, go over the previous night's homework for about 20, then the teacher stands there and lectures anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes, and then you have your final lab or your guided or independent practice. In a flipped classroom, however, you still have your warm-up for 5 minutes. There's a question and answer video on the video, so if there are any questions from the students, they can answer them. And then the last 75 minutes is the guided or independent practice in the lab, so the students have more time to focus on the stuff that really counts. So where are the downfalls in this book? In my opinion, I really didn't see any downfalls. In growing up in a traditional classroom setting, I more often than not felt lost and behind. I was not a fast reader, so keeping up with lectures and reading was a struggle for me. I was horrible at taking notes. They usually look like chicken scratch because I always felt rushed, but luckily for me, I was able to recall enough to get by, but really not learning it. As the book put it, I played school. In other words, I did enough to get by, and once I took a test, I'd just forget what I learned. The only downfall of this system, which really isn't a downfall, is the time it takes to get it up and running. Bergman and Sams even gave solutions for that. As they put it, start with a lesson, then advance to a topic, next a complete subject, and then the whole class. They suggest researching other teachers' videos and podcasts to give you ideas and strategies for the assessment and the mastery of the skills. All in all, the book seems to be a great way to have students take control over their own learning and for teachers to have more time for their students. In conclusion, this book is a great start to changing the way students learn. In today's society, technology is everything, so why not use it to our advantage for the teachers? If the students want to be on their phones and computers, make it a learning experience. Help them help themselves. There are convincing stories, ideas, and resources to help even the newest teachers change the trends in learning and teaching, helping students at every level, letting those who excel soar to new heights, and helping those who can use a little extra attention and create new relationships with our students. When we're able to build a rapport with them, we're better able to serve their learning needs. And here are some of the references I used. If you go back, you'll see that there was a video in there, a short video of John Bergman explaining the flipped classroom. I would advise you guys to go back and check it out. It's really quite interesting, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.